2 towns in southern Wake County have just recently announced new promising microtransit service. If you weren't awake already, I guess you are now. I don't know where that enthusiasm came from, but it's there. While microtransit isn't necessarily amazing, from what I can tell so far, these new services seem well planned and will be highly useful and are a great foundation for future public transit options, because I can see myself using them many times in the future if they're good, which I expect them to be decent enough. It doesn't take much to make any transit-related thing enjoyable to me. Now, these new microtransit services will serve Holly Springs and Fuquay-Varina, 2 neighboring towns southwest of North Carolina's capital city, Raleigh. So I guess we'll start with Holly Springs, as that may or may not be where I currently reside and have for a while. The new Holly Springs microtransit, named the Holly Springs Hopper, as dumb as it sounds, I don't hate it, was announced earlier this year and will serve all of Holly Springs as well as its extraterritorial jurisdiction, which includes areas like Duncan, Wilburn, and New Hill, and will be operated by Freebie, a microtransit company that operates services primarily in Florida, as well as, I think, 1 suburban service in the Charlotte area. Why they chose Holly Springs as one of their first non-Florida locations is beyond me, but I'm certainly not complaining. Who are we kidding? Somebody on the town council probably went on vacation to Miami, saw one of these things, and thought, oh, that's cool. Thankfully, though, these are not what we're getting. You may be thinking, oh, so you're getting Chrysler Pacificas like almost every other microtransit. No. And while we aren't quite getting buses or minibuses, we are getting a certain vehicle that wasn't quite on my bingo card. The Volkswagen Buzz. As someone who typically hates van-based microtransit, to my own shock, I genuinely don't hate it. The livery is super cool and blends into the Buzz, which seems to be something Freebie is good at. It seems like Freebie uses the Buzz, Teslas, and sometimes Toyota Siennas for microtransit, and these things for fixed routes, which I did not know they offered until now. And I don't like these at all, but hey, if that's what it takes to possibly get an inner Holly Springs fixed route, then so be it. Now, according to the town, the service will have 5 vehicles, with 1 serving as a spare, which will include the Buzz and some Toyota Siennas, which is to be expected as EVs, especially bougie EVs, are expensive. And this is already better than the Morrisville Smart Shuttle, a microtransit that is operated by GoCarry, a fairly large agency, while not super large, but we already talked about this in the last video, and has been around for a good few years now. They only have like 2 buses and only operate 1 or 2 at a time. So if you're already getting one-upped by Holly Springs and you're operating a microtransit in Morrisville, which is pretty dang big, I think you need to reevaluate your system. Fixed up. Anyways, the fare is $2 for up to 2 riders, basically $1 a person, and free for seniors age 62 and above. The fare is doubled when the ride is over 7 miles or if the destination is inside the town's extraterritorial jurisdiction, which I guess is fair, and I can jive with that. The town also plans to review the service regularly in order to make proper adjustments, which I'm very much in agreement with. Overall, I really like this idea, and I can see myself using it very frequently. As much as I would like to see a real fixed route transit system, I understand why they're not going to right off the bat start with that, and this is a good step in the right direction and a good way to get the suburban individuals of Holly Springs to realize transit isn't bad and ease them into it by gaslighting them with a car-like vehicle. Now, initially it seemed like they were going to have 4 service zones, but I think they got rid of that in favor of the whole intraterritorial, extraterritorial thing, which makes more sense. And I'm not sure if this is true or not, but according to the app, riders will be able to take the Hopper into downtown Fuquay-Varina, which perfectly leads us into the other new microtransit, Go Raleigh MicroLink. Now, MicroLink is a bit different of an operation compared to the Holly Springs Hopper or other local microtransits such as the Morrisville Smart Shuttle. It is operated by Go Raleigh, and instead of being designed to serve 1 area and 1 town, it is designed to serve multiple areas in multiple different towns and regions and connect them to local fixed routes to get to bigger transit hubs. Currently, MicroLink only operates in Rollsville, which is north of Raleigh and right next to Wake Forest, where you can transfer to the Go Wake Forest microtransit service and the Go Triangle Wake Forest Express, which can take you to downtown Raleigh and Triangle Town Center. Starting next year, however, MicroLink will begin service in their next region, Fuquay-Varina, which will include both downtowns. Yes, it has 2 downtowns, Willow Spring, Holly Springs, where you can transfer to the Go Triangle 305 at its southern terminus, Walmart, as well as the Holly Springs Hopper, and Wake Tech, where you can transfer to the Go Raleigh Wake Tech Express, or 40X, which runs every half hour on weekdays. Now, unfortunately, this is replacing the Go Raleigh Fuquay Varina Express, but I completely understand why they are making this decision, and the MICROTRANSIT is completely unironically providing much better service than the FRX did. Not only is it able to take you to the 40X in multiple different areas as opposed to one, which you can use to get to downtown Raleigh, but it also runs all day from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays and Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is already decent for North Carolina MICROTRANSIT, but especially compared to the FRX, which had a schedule that consists of 3 morning trips to Raleigh, 90 minutes or so apart, 1 evening trip to Raleigh, and 1 morning trip to Fuquay Varina with 3 every 60-ish minutes in the evening. Even though these buses are likely going back to Fuquay Varina or Raleigh for another trip, you're not allowed to take it that direction at that time, and you have to stick with this abominable schedule. Not to mention, it only ran weekdays, so essentially the MicroLink is adding a greater service area, higher frequency with a supposedly promised no more than 20-minute wait, and Saturday service, which I will also be utilizing. A slight walk since the Hopper doesn't run Saturdays, but whatever. And the Fuquay MicroLink will have better service times than the already existing Rollsville MicroTransit, as the Rollsville one only runs from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. 6 p.m. How are you going to commute with that? That service time is not good. 7 a.m. is acceptable, but 6 p.m. is a terrible cutoff. What if you're trying to go, what if you work in Raleigh, you live in Rollsville or Wake Forest or whatever, you take like the 5 p.m. Wake Forest Express, you get up into Wake Forest at 6 p.m., what, you just don't get to go home? For a MicroTransit in a town where most people using that MicroTransit are probably using it to commute to their jobs, which would specifically be probably between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m., that's pretty bad. Anyways, basically, Fuquay better get wrecked, nerd. Both services start on Monday, January 5th, 2026, and I can assure you I will be using both of them on the first day. I'm sorry this video felt very rushed. I just realized I have a class in 2 minutes. But big things are happening. Expect a video about these again sometime between the January 5th, January 15th range. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.